Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. I wanted to do a Valentine's Day look for you. I just got back from India yesterday, which was Tuesday, and it looks like we're having snowpocalypse number 2 here in Atlanta. So I'm snowed in. I was supposed to be at work today, in which case I wouldn't have been able to film a video for you guys for the next couple of days until the weekend hit, but it looks like I got a couple more days off than I was supposed to. So here I am. I hope you guys enjoy this Valentine's Day tutorial. It's really simple. I went for what I thought were really light eyes, which I feel like the camera isn't picking up, but it's supposed to be really bright-eyed. I don't have much black eyeliner on, that type of thing. And it's actually a really easy look to create. I'm using the NARS Narcissist palette for the most part, so I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm starting off with Urban Decay's Primer Potion. I'm kind of doubling up, as you guys will see. I'm just using the normal primer potion. And then what I also like to do is I like to go ahead and put on my colored corrector on the inside of my eye right now, because that way there's nothing going to go over it and kind of take away the effect. Got it. This is Bobbi Brown's Peach Corrector. It's in dark peach. So what I always do is go ahead and put it on just like this, like a very small amount to the inside of the eye. That's where I get the most darkness, and I pull it up. It does a great job of looking like my normal skin color. This is called Provoke Eyeshadow Base by Sigma. That's what it looks like. And I just like to use my finger and smooth this on. This just helps to give the look a bit more brightness that the colors themselves and the eyeshadows aren't able to provide. And also, because if you put like a light colored base, any color that you put on top of it is going to pop. The NARS Narcissist palette right here, and I'm gonna go in with this purple color right here. They have all their names written somewhere, I think on the box, but it's just too much to look up right now. But it's that purple shade. I'm using a brush like this. And I'm going to go ahead and just put that into the crease, blending it downwards. So this is interesting because it looks so different in the palette than what it actually comes out to be. Like, it doesn't really look purple in the lid. It looks more like a black, but it's supposed to be, you know, a purple. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is take this shimmery brown color right here, which looks similar to me to Galapagos, which if you guys have used NARS eyeshadows, you might know what that one is. So I've gone ahead and done that. I just put that in closer to the inside. Now I'm just taking a clean blending brush like this, and I'm going to blend that out. Upward and outward. I'm not really going in too far because I didn't want this look to be too dark. Just like that, not really going for a specific shape or anything like that, just sort of blending it and kind of following the natural like shape of your eye. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is, also in this NARS palette, I'm going to use this color right here, the sort of brighter light color, using this brush right here by Sigma. And I'm going to put that on top of just the lid area, basically. Starting from the inside, working your way to out here. And then I'm going to go in also with this other color right here. It's sort of like a pinkish color. And I'm putting that on just on the top, but very little. And now, if you notice, some of the crease has come off, which is good because it was kind of too dark anyway. But now with this blending brush, I'm going to go ahead and pick up that purple again, but a small amount. And I'm just going to go ahead and blend it out. I'm just adding a little bit more and going ahead and blending this out. And you guys will see this kind of has like a sharp angle, which was created with the concealer that I used, not, you know, by my blending this, which you guys will see in a second. So we've got that. And now I'm going to take this like sort of this stiffer brush, and I'm going to get Ricepaper eyeshadow by MAC, which is this right here. And I'm going to use that to put on my highlighter. Okay. And then probably the most important part of this is to line your inner rim with this eyeliner right here. This is the Tarte Inner Rim Liner. It's a nice nude color, not white. So it doesn't look like a natural. And this one stays on really well also. And then we're also going to line our top lash line with a black eyeliner. This is Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and use just a thin brush like this to kind of smudge this. Just to give it that sort of look, just a little bit more romantic. I don't want anything harsh. You could have done like a liquid eyeliner to get like a harsher line, but I didn't want to do that for this look. And then I'm going to go ahead and put on my under eye concealer, and then I want to come back and do my tear duct. That's kind of always the order in which I do things. I'm not really sure why, but I feel like the inner tear duct like doesn't look normal like if you don't do your concealer and stuff. Oh, this concealer is Max Pro Longwear in W35. So for the rest of my face, what I'm going to actually do is mix two foundations. The reason for that is that I wanted to give myself more of a glow than I usually do, and in order to do that, my matte formulas are not going to work. So I'm using my Kat Von D Lock-It Foundation, but only in a small amount. Just that much. And then I'm also using my NARS Sheer Glow in the color Syracuse. So we've got that much going on, and I'm going to go ahead and take a spatula like this, and I'm going to blend those together. And this actually I found that it really balances well. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to get when I did this for the first time, but somehow their formulas work together pretty well. Then I'm going to take a brush, this one right here by Sigma, and I'm going to go ahead and blend this on. I've already put on my primer before I started. I like to give it some time to set in before doing anything. That's why I put it on in the very beginning. I feel like that's a pretty good color match for me too. The Kat Von D can go a little orange, I feel like, sometimes. This is a good way to mitigate that. And then what I'm going to do is with my MAC Studio Finish Concealer in NC42, I'm going to go ahead and conceal this awful blemish that I've had forever. If somebody could please tell me how in the world to get rid of this, that would be great. Like, there's no texture to it now, it's just color. And the color refuses to go away. Okay, so now what I'm going to go ahead and do is put on a brightener under my eye, because I feel like to look all romantic and all that kind of stuff, it's really important to highlight more than to contour. So I'm using my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the color Medium to Ginger. And I love this. Love, love, love it. I just put it on like that and then go back and blend. I'm going to use this brush right here by Sigma. This is the Precision Angled P84. And I like to just put it on the outside because that's where it's most important to like get a good highlight in. And now we can go ahead and do our under eye eyeshadow. I always like to do it that way because I feel like if not, your concealer's not going to go up as high as it should, stuff like that. So I like to wait until the end for that. So for that, I'm going to go back into my NARS Narcissist palette, and I'm going to go back into that purple color. Since it was darker than we imagined it to be, I thought this would be a good color for what we're about to do. With the short shader brush right here by Sigma. And I'm going to go ahead and from the outside, just pull this in. Not all the way because you'll kind of defeat the purpose then, but I pulled it in about 3/4 of the way. And now what I'm going to do is my final touch, like I always like to do, is just go back through and just make sure all my blending and stuff looks good. And then we need to do the inner corner, and for that I'm going to go back into Ricepaper, the same color as we got our brow bone highlight, and I'm going to go ahead and just take a brush like this. So that's kind of what opens it up. And then if you feel like after you've blended and stuff that your colors might not be as vibrant as they should be, you can always go back and go ahead and pull out some more eyeshadow and just place that on the top. Which is kind of like what I'm doing. And then we can go ahead and move on to the face. And now I'm going to go ahead and set my makeup really lightly with my Prep and Prime by MAC. I like to just lightly dust this over because I don't want to look overly powdered. The most important area really is your under eye. And that's it for the powdering. I didn't want to do any more. And then I'm going to lightly go in with some bronzer. This is NARS Casino Bronzer. That's what it looks like. And I'm going to use an angled brush like this. And I'm going to kind of just casually put it on. I'm not going for like a super contoured look or anything like that. Just like that. I wanted to use this color by MAC right here, which is called Style Blush. It's a frost. With my MAC brush right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and put this on. To get a more doll-like appearance, you could definitely place this blush like more on the apples of your cheeks, but that's not really the type of look that I'm going for, so I'm going to put more emphasis towards the back. And then so as not to move your concealer from the area that we have put on concealer, you want to make sure to dab and not sort of like rub. So for my lips, what I'm going to kind of do is mix a couple things. I'm using Posh by M Cosmetics, which is this beautiful color. It's like this magenta-ish sort of color. And I put that on like really lightly. But it's still like so pretty and pigmented. And then over that, I'm going to go in with Ample Pink Lip Gloss by MAC, which is this color right here. It's showing up a lot darker on camera than it really is. In real life, it's more of like a mid-tone pink. I use this a lot on brides. So we've got that. And then we need to do our eyebrows, and then we can go ahead and do our lashes. And then for my brows, I'm going to use Makeup Forever's Aqua Brow. It's similar to what everyone is raving about right now by Anastasia, which is the dip brow. So what I'm going to do is, it comes in this little tube. I'm going to go ahead and take some out of my hand. And you really need like the tiniest amount. So what I've taken out is just that. And I'm going to use an angled brush, and I think I want to use this one right here. Make sure you use like a synthetic brush for this right here. So I'm using the MAC 266. We're going to go ahead and make sure your eyebrows are in good shape, so I would go ahead and spoolie them out really quick. And then with this, I'm just going to go in, get some product, rub off the excess, and then start somewhere in the middle, because if you've got too much in your brush, you don't want that to be at the corner. This is really great if you want to elongate your brows and make sure that it looks more natural, and also kind of like stays on longer than what a pencil would be able to do for you. So now I'm just going to go ahead and do my lashes really quickly, and for that I'm using a CoverGirl lash curler. I'm going to go ahead and curl my lashes. And I am using what I think is like the best mascara ever right now, which is Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I'm going to go ahead and put that on.